And hello and welcome everybody to round 5 of the Division 2 championship in Zoom Racing League. We are here in Brazil from our random Grand Prix. Brazil was what is rolled, and it is not only a random Grand Prix weekend, it is a sprint weekend as well. So we will have 12 laps after qualifying to set the grid for the feature race, which is going to be 36 laps. But here is our racetrack, 15 turns, of course, 2 DRS zones. We all know this track very well. And so, we are here in qualifying, and I am joined today in the booth by none other than Luke Hagenus, Red Panda Pigeon Slayer, whatever you want to call him, here in the booth today. Welcome.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Nathan.
Good evening. Alright, so Luke, would you like to take us through our standings first?
Apologies, I lagged a bit. So, watching the standings, apologies, but something lagged on my voice chat.
Good.
So, watching the standings, John Ranger is leading the pack with 96 points. On P2 is Josh Madler. P3 is Try. P5 for Jack Fletcher, Nick Hamrick, and at P5, Blake on P6, Combined YouTuber on P7, Mateo on P8, Tate on P9, Mac on P10, Chap Tucker on P11, Eric McNerney P12, Thomas Babsey on P13, followed by Labib on P14, P15 is for Trent, Big Mama Frank P16, P17 is Spanini, Arrow on P18, Rage P19, and Merck is closing the pack with 0 points. Watching the team standings, Mercedes is leading the pack 1 point ahead of Ferrari, Alfa Romeo on P3, Red Bull P4, Williams P5, McLaren P6, P7 is for Haas, P8 Aston Martin, P9 AlphaTauri, P10 Alpine.
Alright, thank you very much. And the man in P2, Josh Mulder right now, I'm sure none of you know, but you have seen that he is retired from the session. That is because he has acquired more than 6 penalty points, which means he could have been subject to a race ban, as Ferrari nearly gets in the way of Arrow. But as I said, the stewards voted against a race ban, so he is only going to be serving a qualifying ban today. And I think this is the best venue to really be taking your qualifying ban, because we have a sprint race and it's Brazil. You know, there's lots of overtaking opportunities, and so not the worst case scenario. I mean, it is for this current event for Wild Pros, but he can at least build up from here. So let's look for someone on a hot lap. I believe we have a Ferrari who's about to start theirs. Is that Jack Fletcher? Yes, it is. So Luke, how about you take us through a hot lap here?
Yes, with pleasure. Jack Fletcher is running through Senna S's legendary section, but he is running on intermediate tires. DRS wide open out of turn 3. Apologies, I won't say the name turns because I'm pretty bad with Portuguese language. Going through turn 5. Uphill to turn 6 and 7. Pretty tricky place, easy to went too wide, running through P7 downhill to P9 and going uphill back on the way to turn 10. Slow section of the turns, going downhill to turn 11. Last braking zone to turn 12 and running through turn 13 to back to turn 14 and main straight. DRS is wide open and Fletcher is heading to the line. Obviously time won't be impressive because he was using intermediate tires, but that's a lap around Interlagos track.
Yeah, sorry about that. I probably should have clarified that he was on slick tires before I had you start all that, but hey, still a very good commentary throughout the lap. Intermediates only about 2.8 seconds off the next time above him. So, I mean, if everyone was on intermediates, where would Jack Fletcher be? Good question. Go ahead.
I mean, watching that Fletcher was on intermediate tires, it wasn't a big loss.
No, not at all. And we have more people on the intermediate tires. Combined YouTuber is one of those, and the other AlphaTauri is as well. This is Merc. We're going to call him that. He goes faster than Jack, the only other intermediate tire runner so far with a lap time. So far, we have Mateo on P1, and then it's Shry P2, just finished his lap, I believe. Then it's Nadewell with Pig Mama Frank and a Mercedes sandwich. Chubb Tucker is P5. So after that, it's Arrow, and then the intermediate times, and we still have lots of laps to be set. Enrique McNewby or Eric McNerney is next, and he's P5. Goes ahead to Chubb Tucker and Arrow, that's who we'll compare him with. Then Combined YouTuber goes 12th with his intermediate tires. Hugagi Roldi has invalidated his lap and I believe has also run out of fuel, so he'll be back into the pits. Buzzcott also invalidated his lap. Sid is about to finish his lap. He's going to come across the line in the Haas. And what time is it going to be? It's going to be a 1:09.7 P8, slowest of the soft runners right now. Trent H is maybe on a flyer. He's got the fastest first sector according to the track map here. So here is the tricky sector 2 as we'll describe it. Very easy to get that one wrong and go wide, but he hasn't really done so. So it's very tight through this right-hander, and then it'll be a flick left right away as we go through a big wide left turn, uphill again, and into turn 10. Very easy to lock up. We saw Lewis Hamilton lock up here and completely take out Alex Albon in 2019. So final corner, I guess you could say here for Trent H. 52.2 through the second sector as the whole lap time, and down the final straight, what's it going to be for the Aston Martin? It's going to be a 1:09.1. So P7 for him. Go on. And let's just take a look at who else is on that lap right now. We have 10 minutes remaining of the session. Nadewell, who's already set a lap, going out pretty quickly once again. Just past the 10-minute mark. So he's going out a bit early. Maybe he just doesn't want the traffic or some other reason, but he's going to go on. And while we're here, go ahead.
Yeah, or maybe let me check. Is he? No, he's using fresh set of tires. So that's a bit surprised because soft compound is really useful. Tire wear is not that big on this track, so I am expecting that soft will be on the play during the race. So interesting strategy by Nate.
Yeah, now remember us doing Brazil last season, and we were really thinking about whether the softs would be the tire to go to in the Brazil sprint race, or would it be the mediums? And I can't remember what the result was, but I don't think the softs were so bad that it was clear that anyone would not use them. Because I remember we had a few people using them, but yeah, again, can't remember how that one ended out, but we'll have our results in probably 20 minutes time. Go on.
That might be a bit tricky because they are going quite fast to first drop zone, and drivers will be struggling a bit because of that. But besides that, it should be easy to complete the sprint race on soft compound.
Yes, and I'm noticing lots of absences here, so I'm gonna try and take a note of something here. Okay, so 3 of our top 5 drivers, John Ranger, 2 of our top 5 drivers, John Ranger and Nick Hamrick, are not here tonight. And while Wild Pros has a qualifying ban, this might allow Shry and Jack Fletcher to take P1 and 2 in the championship. Right now, they're 3rd and 4th, but our top 5 are only separated by 13 points, so we could see some major moves in the championship tonight. And there goes Jack Fletcher. It's a Ferrari front row lockout right now, provisionally of course, and he goes about a 10th and a bit faster than his teammate.
Yeah, but it looks like Matteo find finally his pace after winning 2 weeks ago in Vegas. Now he's on the one of the top spots for quality sprint. So is he aiming for a second win in a row?
I mean, I would expect nothing less from him. Nadewell into the pits. Not really sure why he didn't finish a lap. Big Mama Frank is who will go on board with next. But yeah, definitely could be going for a second win here. He's P2 right now, and I don't think if Matteo is the faster driver that Jack Fletcher will put up any huge fight for the win. But this is going to be really good for them if Ferrari can keep this momentum going into Division 2, of course. Ferrari's a team that is fighting for the top of the combined constructors championship. So this would be very useful if they could get a 1-2 and maximize their points in the sprint race as well.
Yes,
BMF
indeed. And
goes
meanwhile,
Go on.
BMF goes fourth, and it's really tight between P3 and P5. It's only 500 of a second, and Big Mama Frank finds that a little bit gap to place himself between Basgard and Nadewell. And Enrique only 3 milliseconds ahead of Basgard.
And new kid on the block, Merck just went second fastest in the AlphaTauri. Oh well, welcome to Division 2, I must say. And so this is Merck's first race starting for AlphaTauri. Has not started any other race this season. And do AlphaTauri have a little bit of a prodigy on their hands? We will have to see.
Yeah, especially that they are not last, and with only one driver scoring points so far for the team. So if combined YouTuber, who is currently on the hot lap, will be able to fight for top with Merck, AlphaTauri might be on the play.
Yes, and of course combined YouTuber's first lap was on the intermediate tires, and he's jumped up 8/10 in the first sector alone. And so we'll see what he can do once he gets out of the Sector 2 checkpoint. But this could be a good lap for combined YouTuber, and if it is, like you said, AlphaTauri might be in a very good fighting position here. Yeah, he's 3 seconds up, so this could even be a 108, a low 108 maybe, so we'll have to see. He's going to cross the line soon. What is it going to be for the AlphaTauri driver? Can he get close to his teammate? He can even beat him. So, AlphaTauri, P2 and P4 right now. I think AlphaTauri are here to fight.
Yes, definitely they look rapid. I'm wondering why Blake Stevenson is still in the pit lane. It's pretty short time left to end of this qualifying.
Yeah, and without doing a lap so far for the McLaren driver, I know that you can leave the pits as late as 2 minutes if you get on with it on your out lap here. But still, to have not set a lap here, I wonder what is going on in the McLaren garage tonight.
Yeah, and it's risky strategy because obviously you can reach the traffic during your single hot lap. You can make a mistake, go too wide, especially at this track. So there is plenty of potential things that can happen.
Yeah, we're on board with Sid right now in the Haas. He's barely improved on his first lap and he's going back into the pits. I think he's going to try and do another. Definitely would have sped in the pit lane if the limiter had not caught him there, but it is what it is. Let's look at, it's not Chubb Tucker, who just finished his lap. Only P10 for him. We have a Ferrari starting his lap. Matteo went presumably fastest on the first lap, so let's see what he can do on his second lap around. Through the Senda S's, he's kept the power down quite well. No snaps of oversteer whatsoever. He's going to open the DRS now. There's a car in front of him. I don't think that'll cause him too much trouble. And then he's 1/10 and a bit up. So fourth gear and flat out through that now, through the exit, not the whole corner. And then with this tricky right-hander again, what does he do? It looks like he takes lots of curb, and he's kept it very tight. So he's going to go through the next right-hander and then the next left. There's Mercedes, who is going to have to get out the way here soon. Or will he? Yes, goes wide through turn 10. And there goes Matteo, swooping through this flat-out left-hander. And what will it be through sector 2? It's going to be, he's 4/10 up, so this is going to be good enough for provisional pole if he can keep it on the track, and it looks like he has. So he's going to power down the straight. And what lap time is it going to be for Matteo here tonight? It's going to be a 108.033. I was ready to say 107. Didn't quite break that barrier. Will anyone else here do so tonight?
And we see more and more traffic. Almost every driver on the track right now, excluding only 3 of them. 2 actually now.
Yes, and some going much slower than others, so a little bit of overtaking happening with the build up to our final lap. How much time do we have? We have 1 minute and a little bit left to go with the session. Blake Stevenson has stayed in the pits, so he will not be setting a lap time here. I wonder if he has a qualifying ban that I might have missed here.
And then first driver to set a lap will be Trent, who is actually running through turn 3. Minor improvement after sector 1.
I think he went wide of turn 4 or turn 3. Here we go. He's very wide through that corner, I must say. Missing the apex there a little bit. Go ahead.
Through this corner you can basically take a couple of racing line without impeding your speed, so maybe Trent just feel comfortable with that specific lane.
And only comfortable enough to take him 1 and a bit up, 1/10 up. And we'll see what he does as he crosses the line. Chubb Tucker went fastest in the Mercedes. He's beaten Matteo, that's for sure. Unless Matteo's going for a double push. We'll see what Matteo's cooking here. Does he improve? I think he matched his sector time. We'll go on board with Jack Fletcher, who's invalidated his lap, so that's it for Jack Fletcher. He'll stay P3 unless anyone behind him improves. Combined YouTuber won't be improving that much, but will it be enough to take Jack Fletcher's position? They're very close. Let's see. Buzzgod goes 4th fastest. Let's see what we got here. Combined YouTuber going across the line. The other AlphaTauri did improve to P2. What can this one do? It will be a 108.312. So only good for 6th. But Merck has moved himself up to P2. And this is our order for the sprint race here. So Chubb Tucker is on pole position unless Sid can do anything. And he hasn't. Unless Matteo can improve. Can Matteo improve? Just barely, but not actually. He didn't improve, but there it is.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He didn't improve, but I just paid attention for a gap between AlphaTauri and Ferrari P2 and P3, and it's even smaller than blink of your eyes. So expecting really intensive battle between those two.
Yeah, this is the first showing for Merck, so we'll have to see, is it only quali pace that he has, or can he back this pace up in the race as well? But who knows. He's starting from P2 behind Chubb Tucker and in front of the 2 Ferraris. Then it's Buzzgod and combined YouTuber It's Shry, who's looking to make moves in the championship tonight, is starting P7. And then P8 goes to Sid, P9 goes to Nadewell, Eric McNerney is only P10. I'll get the rest of the order to you shortly. And let's not forget, top 8 in the sprint race get points. It goes 8 points for P1, and then just it goes down by 1 point as the positions go down until it stops at P8. So here we go. BMF is P11, and Trent is P12. Then it's Arrow in P13, Labib P14, Hokage Roldi in P15, and then Wild Pros and Blake both serving a qualifying ban, 16th and 17th. And they will look to make up positions in the race, and we know they have pace, so let's see if they can do that. As you said, the gap between P2 and P3, 4 milliseconds, way slower than the blink of your eye. Another close gap here. Combined YouTube ran it try 5 milliseconds, but hey, these gaps don't matter. It's going to be about the gaps of the wheels between all of our drivers into turn 1, because we know chaos can happen in Brazil's turn 1, and so we'll just have to see. This track is great for racing, and racing we shall see in about a minute's time here. I'm not going to crack.
Also, I think it's worth to pay attention that less than half a second splits P1 and P11, so basically everyone might fight for a win in the sprint race.
That would be very exciting, definitely. And I'm not going to crack open a cold one yet. There is one waiting on standby in John Ranger's name, but we'll wait to open that up until the start of the feature race. But until then, we wait for the start of the sprint race. Will it be softs? Will it be mediums? What tires will be on these cars here tonight in the sprint race? And my favorite little trick, here we go, as all the lights are about to come on. It's 4 lights, it's 5 lights, and will the lights go out right now? And it looks like the AlphaTauri gets an okay start, but not good enough. He's not actually fast off the line at all. The Ferrari might challenge him into turn 1. What chaos will happen into turn 1? The two Ferraris going side by side. There's a car off in the background. There's a little bit of a slide here. It looks like Try has lost a lot of positions here. Let's go back and look a little bit. Looks like the AlphaTauri of Combined YouTuber is being challenged by Sid now, who goes on the grass and is out of the race. He lost it on the straight. He got a bump on the grass and he is out. He nearly went into the Alfa Romeo, I believe it was, of Eric McNerney. What a spectacular crash that was for Sid, and he's out in the first like 20 seconds of the sprint race here.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for a Haas driver. I seen exactly moment of his crash. It looked really awful, and Enrique McNerney was really lucky that he wasn't collected by Sid over there.
Yes, absolutely, and as the HUD shows us, it is not a virtual safety car; it's a full safety car now. Stewards must be checking on Sid, or not the stewards, the marshals must be checking on Sid to see if he's okay. But here it is. So a full safety car on the first lap of the sprint race. And meanwhile, let's take a look at our tires. How about it? Softs for most of the grid.
Yes, indeed. Only 2, 6, 7 drivers on mediums, including both Ferraris, Trent on P9, and then all the way down from P13 to P16 on mediums. Rest of the grid on soft compound. So everyone feels most of them feels pretty comfortable with softs. But I do expect that especially Ferraris might attack at the end on those mediums.
Yeah, I'd assume that all the medium runners are not going to be happy with this safety car, because that's going to let the soft runners really let their tires relax here. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the only lap of safety car running we have, because the pack really hasn't been broken up because of that incident. It was only Sid who lost out in the end. I mean, what a spectacular crash it was. We saw him go onto the grass on the straight a little bit. I think he was trying to challenge Combined YouTuber or something, and he just cut a huge bump in the grass, and that sent him all the way to the other wall and left him without any suspension on his front right. So let's see if the safety car is in this lap. It's coming to the sector checkpoint now, and will it be in? No, it won't be, and I wonder why that is. We are all ready to go as far as I'm concerned, so there's a couple seconds where it might just be waiting to come in, but it looks like it's going to stay out. So here we go for another lap of safety car racing. Racing,
Yeah,
if you want to call it that. Go on.
Meanwhile, I'm watching for the position changes, and it looks like Wild Poros is the biggest winner of the race start. He gained 4 positions. Meanwhile, Try is the biggest loser, if we might call him like that. He lost 6 positions at the start. Top 6 remained at the same positions.
And I wonder what caused it try to lose so many positions. There was a car that went very wide into turn 1 off the track even. So I'm going to do a professional maneuver here, and that is rewatching the stream from my phone. And I'll just see if the Williams went off the track, and yes, the Williams did go off the track into turn 1. Completely it went wide and didn't make the first apex, had to cut the corner, so that is why Itchrai is down in P13 and our biggest loser of this sprint race so far. I'm gonna assume that we have racing to come this next lap, so we just have to wait a little bit longer, then we'll have some green flag racing once again. Right now, probably the two strongest teams right now, Ferrari and AlphaTauri, maybe joined by Mercedes as well, are gonna be in the top 7 as we restart our race here. So here we go. We're gonna be on board with Merc here to see when the Mercedes goes, and we'll see if that catches out the AlphaTauri whatsoever. He's keeping a very close gap to him though, and he got on it and he went off it. So yeah. Chubb Tucker is away, and Mateo's getting a good run on the AlphaTauri, so what will it be?
Arrow made a mistake. He's remained stationary. Looks like he found out himself at the restart.
Very interesting as we look to see if any moves are going to be made into turn 3. All these cars are going single file right now, and it looks like Trent is going to be the one who's going to make a move out of all people on the Alfa Romeo. He's going to go down the inside. Eric McNerney keeps it going around the outside, but the Aston Martin looks to have the run here unless Eric fights back, and he doesn't. So Trent H up into 8th position, and he has gained now 4 positions, and he's almost going to be our biggest winner so far of this race. It's Shirai, our next one, is fighting with Wild Pros here, and now has lost that position. So we'll see what these two, who started with qualifying bends, if they can make up any positions. Chubb Tucker has gotten a second gap on Merc already, so we'll see if the AlphaTauri can make that up, but he's being chased by 2 prancing horses here.
Yeah, I mean, Ferrari are in really good positions because they can cooperate each other. If one will feel more comfortable and more pacey, they might do some team orders and decide to slower car, try to block guys behind them. So they are in most comfortable situation right now as a team.
And let's not forget, they are on the medium tires, so their tires are only going to gain advantage as the race goes on. So if they can stay in this position where they're in the DRS of each other and in the car in front, then I think they could be maybe fighting for a 1-2 finish if they're lucky enough, and if Merc can catch up to Chubb Tucker here. He's just barely dipping under 1 second, and there it is. He's in it, and now he's out of it again. 1.1 the gap right now. He will have to make up that gap in 1 lap's time, where he will not have DRS, and he'll have 2 Ferraris probably sailing past him.
Indeed, and I do believe DRS will be enabled at this lap. So they will be able to use, yes, DRS is enabled, so they will be able to use that DRS advantage between turns 3 and 4, and I'm pretty sure that I've seen Merc is struggling really hard with battery. He is flashing right now, so he might struggle to defend against Ferrari boys behind him.
Yes, as BMF makes it past the Alfa Romeo of Eric McNerney, and now Eric has his teammate behind him. So will he make way for his teammate who's trying to make up positions in this sprint race so he can be in good contention for the championship fight tonight? We'll have to see in a few moments' time. It's pretty clear that Wild Pros is the faster driver right now, so when will the switch be made? Meanwhile, we go back to our top 3. As you said, Merc is struggling on his battery, 13%, and Mateo and Fletcher both have 40%, so here we go. This combined YouTuber gets past BuzzGod. Not really sure how that happened, but he did. So Matteo, does he go for an overtake into turn 1? It doesn't look like he will, but he does have the run, so will he go down the inside? No, he'll wait and let the AlphaTauri use his battery in a defensive way. And look, the AlphaTauri's made a mistake, so Matteo will have a huge run on him, and he's going to try down the inside. He's got the DRS open, and he's going to make this move maybe into the braking zone. The AlphaTauri nearly fights him back. Fletcher can't do anything about the AlphaTauri ahead of him, and meanwhile, Combined YouTuber and BuzzGod were having a scrap, but Matteo is past the AlphaTauri, and now it is up to Jack Fletcher when to make this overtake happen here.
And somewhere meantime, when Wild Poros was switching position with his teammate, Enrique possibly made a tiny bit mistake, went too slow, and he lost additional 2 positions. He's been overtaken by both Try and Blake Stevenson. So something went wrong over there.
Yes, it did. So we go back to our front fight here, and it looks like Merck might be trying to re-overtake the Ferrari here. If he goes for it into turn 1, he's going to get attacked a lot into turn 3, but he's going to do it anyway.
Fletcher.
BuzzGod makes it past Fletcher, and now Merck makes it past the Ferrari, but now the Ferrari will have the DRS and will have the run. Who is off in the background? Is that Josh Mulder, Wild Pros? Yes, it is. He's down to P14 again. That is a big moment in the championship fight for him.
Well. Nadewell as well is out of the track.
Is out, and Merck has stayed P2. He's got a charging Ferrari behind him now. But crucially, as you pointed out, BuzzGod has made it past Jack Fletcher, so the Ferraris can't fight together anymore. Oh, and they might be able to now that... Oh, go ahead.
Yes, Matteo and Merck runs and broke that DRS for Fletcher, so BuzzGod got easy job to do. Meanwhile, Nadewell making another mistake.
Yes, he did. So onto the battery and onto the DRS soon here for Matteo. He's used up a lot, but he's going to make it past the AlphaTauri with no sweat. So will Jack Fletcher try and go on BuzzGod here? He won't. But now it is up to what Merck can do in defense to Matteo. He nearly goes deep trying to attack the Ferrari, but his tires are going to be going out. We have 3 laps remaining of the sprint race. BuzzGod is closer to Merck than Merck is close to Matteo. So we'll see what happens down the straight here. It doesn't look like anything too big will happen. So we move on. Blake is making it past it. Try as we speak. The Williams is going to try keep it around the outside, but he couldn't quite do so. But now he has a run down the inside. It try up into P9 again. They're going to go side by side into the next turn if they don't keep it nice and tidy. But they do. Blake Stevenson stays in P10.
There was a little bit of contact between the 2 of them. I do believe it was McLaren forced to go wide.
Yes, and real quick, the AlphaTauri of Merck is struggling pretty bad. He might not get DRS on this next straight. He's just within that gap, so he's going to probably get it. He's just barely under a second, so he will get it, but BuzzGod can sense that the AlphaTauri in front of him is going to be vulnerable soon, but the AlphaTauri doesn't have the rear wing open. He won't have the chance to. BuzzGod will go down the inside into turn 1, and the Alpine is going to be up into turn 3 as Jack Fletcher is trying to make it happen as well. He nearly is into the back of the AlphaTauri, so he's going to have the inside line for this next corner here. He's got the medium tires, but the AlphaTauri is faster in a straight line, so will Jack Fletcher send it? No, he won't. But BuzzGod makes it past, and he's on to the podium positions for this sprint race here.
Yes, and watching the battery situation, Merck is still struggling a bit. Fletcher got a pretty big advantage on that AlphaTauri. Matteo and BuzzGod on similar battery level. Chaptaker looks safe. He got over 3 seconds advantage and huge battery advantage on drivers behind him.
Something to note as Hokage Roadie goes off in the distance. BuzzGod doesn't have DRS, but Merck does. So will the AlphaTauri try and attack the Alpine here? Actually, the Alpine does have DRS. I don't know why it didn't show me that he did. But we keep on going down the straight here. Trent H is now in this fight for the top 3 positions. And he is right behind Jack Fletcher. Combined YouTuber is doing fine, but BMF and Itchry are fighting it out here. The Red Bull has been overtaken by the Williams, but will Blake Stevenson now get a run on the pair of them? He's right behind them now. Will he get a double toe advantage? No, he doesn't. Fletcher is up on Merck in the meantime. He's going to make that move stick. So let us go back to the fight here. Blake Stevenson has made it past BMF here.
And he running away from that Red Bull pretty fast. It's already almost a second advantage.
And now it is. Wonder what happened to BMF in the span of those last few corners. We have Nadewell around again into turn 3.
Well, maybe it's just soft on that Red Bull starting to giving up.
Yeah.
Because Blake Stevenson is running on mediums.
So now Buzzgod is chasing after Matteo. He's going to try to get this move done into turn 1. But now he has to defend for one more straight from the Ferrari. Meanwhile,
and Trent is overtaking Merck, so Merck is dropping down to P6, while Prost is trying to climb up again. He overtook Labib for P12.
And strangely enough, Matteo not challenging the Alpine. Will he go for it on the final straight, or what is the plan here for Matteo? Whoa, as someone slammed into a wall, I heard the sound, and it was Nadewell in the pit lane.
It was Nadewell who retired from the session.
Yep, so Matteo has closed up the gap quite a bit, so he'll have one more run on the Alpine. But now we look to our race leader, 3.2 seconds for Chubb Tucker. He surely has this in the bag now, fully on the battery. He's going to cross the line to win the sprint race very soon. And we know that, so let's focus on what we don't know. Matteo is going to be going for a move on the Alpine across the start-finish line one more time, and he's going to get it on the Alpine driver for P2 in the sprint race. Buzzgod has to go down to P3. Jack Fletcher is P4. Trent H with a phenomenal performance, I must say. Gets past both of the AlphaTauris. Merck starting from P2, dropped down all the way to P6. Followed by his teammate in P7. Blake Stevenson has made a good recovery, while Prost has not. But Itchry has dropped the most amount of positions in this race, but he hasn't. But he was able to climb back. P9 for him. BMF in P10. The two Alfa Romeos now. And as I said, Wild Prost didn't do a great job of recovering here, so he will have more fighting to do in the next 36 laps. But Labib in P13. Hokage Roldi P14 and Arrow P15.
It was struggling a lot, and we are waiting for him to finish this race.
And there he goes.
I have to say that Blake Stevenson did a mega job during this sprint race. He was chosen by the game as driver of the day, and I do believe it's well-deserved 9th position gain during this 12 laps.
Yes, absolutely. So, as I said, points for the top 8, and this is going to help Ferrari out in the championship a little bit, because I think who is ahead of them is a Mercedes. If it is, then they have gained some points on Mercedes here. Let's just check the standings real quick. Yeah, it is Mercedes. So right now, this would actually put Ferrari in front of Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. So that is pretty crucial here.
Yeah, the gap was 1 point, and Ferrari gained 4 points during this sprint race.
Indeed, they did. So, it is time for a feature race. I wonder if we have any weather. I haven't really known too much about that, but it doesn't look like we do. Very sunny evening here in Brazil. And as I mentioned before, it's just time to crack open a cold one. As we're migrating the host, Hokage Rodi has left. BMF has left. Everyone has left.
Everyone.
Alright, well, good thing I did not crack open the cold one yet, because we might have a lobby restart.
So while we're waiting for the lobby restart,
Yes.
I'd love to mention about another pretty big fight in constructor standings. There's only 1 point gap between Williams and Red Bull boys.
That's absolutely right. And I didn't catch if Red Bull or Williams scored any points in that sprint race. I don't think they did. So, yeah, we will wait. Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, and Williams didn't score in that sprint race. But I think Blake Stevenson scored 1 point, but they're quite a ways behind the top five. For some reason, it says Williams is in sixth, and then the order just goes completely bonkers from there. But 1, 2, 3, 4 is how it is. But yeah, right now Ferrari lead the championship, and I think Jack Fletcher might have made some overtakes in the drivers as well. Finishing P4 would have gotten him 5 points, I like to say, so that's good enough to put him P2 right now. But the battles are very small. I've gotten an invite from Itchrai, so that lets me know that we will be ready to go racing soon. But let's just review our sprint race. So, of course, in the first lap, Sid got pretty much killed by Mother Nature. And other than that, not too much happened. Our qualifying band drivers were able to make up a few positions. Wild Pros had a later spin, though, into turn 1. So, we have plenty of action. I think it will be a good at least 5 minutes time for this lobby to be remade. So, I think we're going to go into a short intermission here. Alright everyone, welcome back to our Brazilian Grand Prix here. We are just about to finish loading here. Don't know if the stream's picking up my game actually. Here we are. Here we go. But we are back and ready to be racing. A little bit of an issue with the safety car lagging all over the place, so of course we don't want that to repeat. But nevertheless, we have 36 laps. It will be most likely a one-stop, assuming people don't get damage. And hopefully we see the same clean start as we did last time out, but I was interrupted last time. I won't be this time, I hope. I've got a cold one to crack open. And there it goes for John Ranger, who's in Mexico right now. Probably sipping a margarita right now. Got his feet up, his dog's out, listening to me talk about this race. Unless he's not, and he's just enjoying his life, but it is what it is. Don't forget everyone.
I have to say that I'm really jealous for John. Like, I could kill for good original tequila from Mexico.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. But yeah, we're about to start our race here. Don't forget we have the Japanese Grand Prix in about 4 hours time. In real life, of course. But now, this is the Brazilian Grand Prix. I don't know how long it's going to be until we get started because people have to get their setups adjusted and all of that fun jazz. But now everyone has a bunch of fresh sets of tires, so no need to worry about used tires being used in the race at all. But here we go. The lights are about to go out here in Brazil for the second time tonight, and the lights are out now. And it looks like the front two get off to a pretty even start. Does Mateo have enough to challenge? No, he doesn't. But does Buzzgod go around the outside? No, he doesn't. Fletcher down the inside of the Alpine into turn 1. He'll have the outside line for the next part of it. Now it's going to be inside again. Jack Fletcher up into P3. It's been a clean start, I should say, for the second time here in Brazil. We got lots of action happening again. Hopefully no Sid incidents here. And it doesn't look like there will be. Big Mama Frank will go on board with him. Going down the inside of the AlphaTauri combined YouTuber is going to get passed by the Red Bull, and Merck has lost a position in the meantime to Itchry. Now Blake Stevenson is going to get past the AlphaTauri, and it looks like he's just being eaten up on his hard tires, because now the Alfa Romeo of Wild Pros is going to go down the inside, and he's hit Blake Stevenson, and he's going to hit him again. So Blake Stevenson goes all the way down to P17. Combined YouTuber is now fighting with BMF again. Somehow out of all of that, Combined YouTuber has jumped up right behind his teammate once again, but the Alfa Romeo of Wild Pros will be in some big trouble for that incident we just saw. Meanwhile, the Haas will be going around the outside of Hokage in the final corner, and it looks like he's going to make this move stick as the other Haas nearly loses it. Sid might have almost died for the second time running here. And now Hokage is going to have the toe of the Haas once again. And he's going to make it past him before the braking zone. But now the other Haas is going to maybe make it 3 wide. And no, he doesn't. But the other... Oh, Sid. Who is that? Labib just went completely offline. And he's off completely. But he's now in P17. Blake Stevenson, in the meantime, is going to get past Arrow here. Sid making it past Hokage. We got plenty of action happening here in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened to Sid, because he was starting on a soft compound. He was more or less at P14 like now, but at some point after the Senna SS, he dropped down by almost 2 seconds behind everyone.
I wonder if that was just with his teammate and Hokage fighting in front of him. He has made up 4 positions, so it's not to say that he's been doing bad in this race whatsoever. DRS will be enabled as we cross the line here, and Mateo is actually in the DRS of Chubb Tucker right now. But are the tires the same? The answer is no. Chubb Tucker's on the softs again. He's one of only 2 drivers to start on the softs. And right now, Mateo is going to try and focus on catching up to the Mercedes in front of him. Meanwhile, Jack Fletcher doesn't have DRS. Buzzgod does, and a lot more battery than the Ferrari. I don't think he knows, because he has not gone for an overtake here. Meanwhile, I think we got a little bit of a fight. Big Mama Frank is challenging the 2 AlphaTauris here, and he's got Wild Pros right behind him. He's not going to make it past the AlphaTauri here, surely. Um, Meanwhile, Merck has actually gone quite far away. And we know Wild Poros's pace here, and we saw him make a daring move into this corner last time around, but he did take out someone else. So I wonder if he'll be as brave to make these moves going further, or if he just wants to keep his nose clean. Sid and Nadewell exchange positions here. Sid making up another position on the soft tires. He knows he's quick, so he's going to use that. On board we go with Wild Poros. He's the third car in this train here, and it looks like he might have the best run out of anyone. Meanwhile, Buzzgod makes it past Fletcher, but this is the fight we're focused on. They're nearly going 3 wide. Combined YouTuber is going to lose 2 positions, and now Wild Poros might try down the inside of BMF, but he doesn't, so he'll have a run for this next corner here. He's gotten very close to the Red Bull here. He's got DRS now, and he's going to open it here, and he's going to fly past the Red Bull in the meantime. Meanwhile, Sid is making up more positions on Eric McNerney. He's got the fastest first sector that lap. So that is all for the action in the midfield. Let's go back to the front. It's Try in P5, and he's right behind Jack Fletcher, who's right behind Buzzgod. But meanwhile, Mateo has actually closed up the gap to Chubb Tucker, so his medium tires are already giving him more than he would have expected, and Chubb Tucker might have something to fear here.
Especially that they both runs out at the start from Fletcher and Buzzgod. They drained a lot of batteries, both of them, and they are still draining. Chubb Tucker is struggling with battery. He's below 10% right now. His Prix is overtaking Fletcher.
Now Fletcher, he does have a little bit of a run on the car ahead, but it tries to deploy the battery a little bit, I'd assume, so he will not get that advantage that he would have liked before.
And I have to say that Buzzgod is looking really good, because guys in front of him got below 20% of battery, and Buzzgod is nearly 80% of battery load, so he is on a good position to attack for the lead of the race at some point.
Yeah, despite this, he hasn't really closed up to the front two whatsoever, so he's not going to be able to make this advantage count unless he can get closer, because he's going to have to use this battery a little bit to defend from the drivers behind, or it will all be wasted. Well, Trent H, we haven't really seen too much front fighting from him, but he's doing a very good job of just keeping his pace right now. He's on the hard tires, but he is playing equal to the cars ahead, so good on him. Itchry might make a move soon. He's getting very close to the back of the Alpine. Does he have the run that he needs? It doesn't really look like he does, but will he go for it anyway? We will have to see. On board with the rear view camera of Buzzgod, the Williams hasn't closed up enough, so we will continue on one more time, and Williams goes a little bit wide. That'll be a warning for the try, definitely, but we'll have to see. Well, cheers from the crowd. Eric Carvalho, of all people, cheering on BMF, and of course OG cheering on the 2 Ferraris, P2 and P5, as OG says, looking great, boys.
Yes, I will agree with OG. Ferrari looks really strong this weekend. We were hoping that AlphaTauri will be on the play, but for now they are struggling a bit. Combined YouTuber dropped down to P10 and is pretty far behind Big Mama Frank, and Sid is putting pressure on him.
This would be quite a send into turn 1 if it does happen, with no lifts off. He might have gotten that move done anyway, as the AlphaTauri broke really early. So now we'll go for it here. He's got the battery on just a little bit, and meanwhile, Itchry gets past Buzzgod. Buzzgod nearly goes into the back of the Williams. That compromised his exit just a little bit. Jack Fletcher can't say anything about it. Meanwhile, Sid hasn't been able to make a move. Behind him, Enrique Manubi and Nadewell are fighting. The Alfa Romeo has the inside line for the next corner. They got Blake Stevenson right behind the pair of them too. But the Mercedes isn't able to do much, so does the McLaren go for a little bit of ascent? No, he doesn't. Does nearly go into the back of him anyway, though.
Yeah, but Eric McNerney is in troubles because he's another one to struggle with
There's a spinner. It's
battery
Jack
amount.
Fletcher. Jack Fletcher has spun in the final corner. Sorry for interrupting you, but the Ferrari is down to P11 now. He's going to be losing more positions surely now. Huge turn of events for Ferrari. As OG says, no, RIP. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Meanwhile, Wild Pros is somehow into P6. I have no idea where he came from. But now he's behind Trent H, who's been upgraded to P5. We'll look back here because we got a nice little train of cars here. Enrique McNuby, will he try and challenge the Mercedes, or behind him will we see Blake Stevenson make a move on Jack Fletcher? No moves being made whatsoever. But Fletcher is clearly faster than the driver ahead of him. He's going to try and maybe go for an overtake here around the outside into turn 5. This would be beautiful if he did so, and he will do so. He's got the line now, and he's made it work, and Blake Stevenson is going to be the next one to try and fight with Eric McNerney. He's down the inside now, and Alfa Romeo doesn't have the grip to fight back, so Eric McNerney has lost a couple positions here, both due to some pretty class overtaking, I must say. Meanwhile, Buzzgod is going to have the run on its try for P3. Buzzgod's been in P3 already, and he's going to be taking it back. And meanwhile, behind him, Trent has kind of lost out. Now Wild Bros is going to try around the outside of turn 1. Will be inside line for turn 2, as we know, and they make a little bit of contact. Trent H still with the inside line here, but Wild Pros with the DRS, and he's right behind the Aston Martin. Now he's not even going to go for the toe. He's going to go straight around the outside. It's try re-overtaking Buzzgod anyway, and good racecraft from Wild Pros to make the move happen. Meanwhile, Sid has made up a position on Combined YouTuber. AlphaTauri kind of struggling here tonight in the race, at least compared to what they did in qualifying.
Yeah, and it looks like Haas driver is waking up for the main race, because both of them were far behind. I mean, State obviously did not finish the sprint race after unfortunate incident shortly after the start, and now he is going through the field pretty fast, gain up 8 positions from the race start, so he might be a dark horse of this race.
Yeah, and another dark horse of this race might be Trent H, who's now challenging Wild Pros here. He got very close to the Alfa Romeo into turn 1, but will he be able to get close enough? Meanwhile, Itchrai gets passed by Buzzcott again. Trent H won't be able to do anything, but he's got much higher battery than the car ahead of him, so he's going to let Wild Pros tow him along just ever so slightly here.
Yeah, and Combined YouTuber gets the position back from Sid. They're fighting side by side through turn 4 and turn 5. It looks like they're going together.
Wow.
Sid got that
Whoa.
outside line and the contact.
How did he keep that back on the track? He's nearly going to lose it again, but as you said, around the outside went Sid, and he just had a little bit of a slide and made contact with Combined YouTuber. And what a miracle it was that he was able to get it back on track. I thought surely he'd be going into the wall.
Yes, I have to say that I'm as well really impressed that State managed to save the car from crashing to the wall.
Code Brown moment for Sid, as John Ranger would say. Trent H is going to be maybe making a move on the Alfa Romeo. We've covered this battle before. Meanwhile, Jack Fletcher has been passed by Blake Stevenson. Let's go back on board with the Aston Martin driver. He's on the battery now, so he's going to go for this move right here, right now, down the inside into turn 3. They make a little bit of contact, but really it's no sweat. Turn 4, I believe it is, sorry. But now Wild Post is going to fight back. He's side by side, but the Aston Martin has the battery, and I assumed he just used a bunch of it to keep his position there.
Yeah, I mean, White Forest is struggling with battery, but he was starting pretty far back. He have nothing to lose. John Ranger is not attending this race. White Forest is doing what he can to go through the field and score as many points as he can.
Yes, and I have a feeling that Wild Pros is going to try to re-overtake the Aston Martin right here. The gap is under 3/10 now, so he's going to make that move happen. Meanwhile, Itchrai gliding past the Alpine of Buzzgod. And let's go back on board with Wild Pros. He's made it past the Aston Martin in the meantime. But Trent H does have the way better line into turn 4, so let's just see what happens. Will he go for the move again? Will it be a repeat event? I don't think it will be. But he does have the run, but he lives softs. So that is your answer. Aston Martin decides to stay behind for a little bit longer.
Yes, and I have to say it's really interesting looking train between Wild Pros on P5 all the way down to Big Mama Frank on P8. 4 cars on similar pace, waiting for mistake of other drivers, looking for a chance to make a move somewhere and somehow.
And I wonder if Trent is trying to use Wild Pros to get closer to the cars ahead, because that's exactly what they're doing. The gap at the start of the lap was 2.1, now it's 1.9, so they're gaining ever so slightly on the cars ahead, but we'll just have to see. Trent H might have a move to be made here into turn 1. Nearly throws it down the inside of the Alfa Romeo, trying to trick him, but has been challenged by the AlphaTauri in the meantime. Merc might get a good run on the Aston Martin here. He's right behind him. They both have the same DRS advantage. BMF might even be involved in this. BMF is going to go down the inside of Merc into turn 4. Will he keep it? And he will. But will it be a switchback from Merc? He'll try, but he wasn't fast enough on the throttle. And he's been overtaken by the Red Bull.
Yeah, Big Mama Frank waited really long with braking to there. He was carrying way more speed comparing to Red Bull sister team driver, and it made it look really easy to make this move and overtake. Meanwhile, going back to Wild Pros and Trent, gap between them and Buzzgod melted down to less than 1.5 seconds, so they are closing up really fast, and it's helping them that Itchrai and Buzzgod are fighting hard each other. They are dropping pace because of that.
Well, Blake making it past Sid on the start-finish straight. The soft tires might just be going away here, as for the top 3, Buzzgod has made it past Itchrai again. Like you said, that gap is going down very quickly from Wild Pros to Itchrai. And I believe that might just be through the corners, because in Sector 1 they lost about 2/10, and I'm assuming that's because of the DRS advantage that Itchrai had. But now through the corners, just look as that gap goes down by huge amounts, I must say. Wild Pros really does have some pace here. We've known that, but this could be a big deal in this whole race's outcome.
Looks like White Pros just barely missed the DRS, and Nadewell made a mistake for another time this weekend. Is out of the track, causing yellow flags at the start of Sector 3.
Yes, and meanwhile, Itchrai and Buzzgod are fighting here. Buzzgod's going to try and re-overtake again. There's another, it's Trent H! The man who's been doing so well has now found himself in a pile of styrofoam. And there's another car around. Sid has just gone off in turn 3. What an odd event that was. And now Blake Stevenson makes it past Combined YouTuber in the meantime. What just happened there? Trent had a moment first, and Sid, as we saw him barrel into the frame, went completely into the wall and hasn't got any damage, but I'm assuming his soft tires are pretty close to being done now.
Yeah, but I have to say that mistakes of those two gifted Jack Fletcher 2 positions, and both Ferraris are in points again.
Yes, and now, crucially, Wild Pros has made it into the 1 second gap of the cars ahead, and he does have DRS So this is what we've been waiting for. Trent H behind Wild Pros won't be there to make any moves, but Buzzgod is into the pits. Buzzgod is into the pits. He's our first man to pit of this race so far, and that is a pretty interesting strategy call. I bet he's onto the hard tires, and yes, he is. So he's going to be going to the rest. Go ahead.
Big Mama Frank might be in trouble against Merck, because he completely lost that DRS on Wild Poros, and AlphaTauri behind him is within DRS range, so he might be looking for a chance to move.
Yes, and meanwhile, Combined YouTube and Blake Stevenson were going at it, and Blake had a huge moment of oversteer on the exit of that corner, and Jack Fletcher has been brought back into contention quite a bit. So we'll have to see what strategy looks like now that we have our first man to pit, the first man to fire his gun. Sid is into the pits now as well. And McLaren just is sliding through these corners now on his hard tires.
Oh, White Forest made a mistake, nearly lost the car at the exit of turn 12. Speaking about strategies,
yes. BMF comes into the pits. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Buzzgod decided to go for fresh hearts, and Sid, opposite to Buzzgod, went for the mediums. So Sid is looking for soft to mediums.
Interesting. So here we go. Blake Stevenson is maybe going to make an overtake on Combined YouTuber. They've been battling for a little bit now. Does Combined go defensive? No, he doesn't. So down the inside goes Blake Stevenson. Somehow Jack Fletcher has lost out to that in the meantime. But Blake makes it past the AlphaTauri pretty easily. We're on board with a man
now,
who should be in a better position, Trent H. Go on.
Yeah, and leading three have to react for pitting by Buzzgod and Big Mama Frank, because they are pretty used tires. Especially Chap Tucker, who is on 16 lap old soft compound.
He's going around for another lap. So I have to wonder what the strategy is for Chap Tucker. Maybe is he trying to extend to the medium tires? I think this would be the perfect time to pit if he is. And that might be to say that our medium tire runners in the top 8 could go onto the soft tires as well. Pretty much everyone can go onto the soft tires, as Jack Fletcher and Eric McNeary go into the pits. What is it for Jack Fletcher? It's going to be the soft tires. Sure enough. And for Eric McNeary, goes onto the mediums. So that's your answer. BMF gets the first time penalty of the race while he's fighting with these two drivers ahead, Labib and Nadewell. He's going to try go down the inside of the Haas, and he just barely committed to the move, but it was enough because Labib backed out. Now he's got a little bit of a run on the Mercedes ahead. I would even go for it here, and whoa, they make a little bit of contact. Suddenly stopping or slowing down was the Mercedes. I don't know what to say about that. We've had talks about unnecessarily slowing down because of Fernando Alonso, but I don't think that was quite the same situation. And now our top 2 pit. Does it try pit as well? No, he stays out. So Wild Pros also stays out. But yes, our top 2 have pit. Chub Tucker, what does he go on to? Does he go on to the hards or the mediums? It's going to be the medium tires for him, and Mateo onto the softs.
Really brave move by Big Mama Frank on Nadewell. He went side by side with him through turn 11 on the outside, so really dangerous spot, especially that it's easy to make a mistake on the exit curve over there, going too wide, and this curve is just sliding you through.
Yeah, and I think something we really have to pay attention to now is that our top 2 have closed together very quickly, and now Mateo's going to try to get past the Mercedes here, but they were about 2 seconds apart before the pits, and now they are practically nose to gearbox.
And Mateo now got the tire advantage because Chap Tucker on previous stage was on softs, Mateo was on mediums. Now they are opposite to this. So Mateo for sure will have grip and pace advantage on the start of the sprint, but is he able to manage his tire to the end to avoid any attacks for Cap Tucker if he managed to overtake him? Definitely,
Mercedes.
mediums will be in way better condition at the race end.
Yeah, and here is the move. So Mateo's going to take the lead. The Mercedes was wide out in turn 1. So now Mateo will go into our provisional lead of the race. Itchrai is going to be behind them
No,
on the soft tires. Go on. Huh?
Mateo is on provisional P2 because Basgat is ahead of them, and he
Oh.
was in pit lane 4 laps ago.
Oh, yes. Very, very true. So now 4 seconds is the gap. Mateo to Buzzgod. So we'll have to see if Mateo can chop down this gap here. Or was it a strategic masterclass for Buzzgod and Alpine?
Yeah, and Basgat is closing up to Blake Stevenson. He will have the race advantage, so he will be able to run away a bit from Mateo.
And Itchrai is already
Meanwhile,
gone. Go ahead.
last 2 laps, plenty of penalties was shown. Big Mama Frank Sid and Arrow get 3 seconds for track limits. Hokage Roldy get 5 seconds for speeding in pit lane.
And Chubb Tucker nearly tried to make a move on Mateo. He's deploying the battery now, so really go for it again. Buzzcon makes it past Blake Stevenson. And Chubb Tucker won't be able to make a move. But Itchrai is close up to the pair of them, and on his soft tires, he might have a go on Chubb Tucker soon. Meanwhile, the gap from Mateo to Buzzgod is actually shrinking quite a bit now, I must say. But there is that car in between them, Blake Stevenson. Unless he pits, he'll be a bit of a barrier to the Ferrari driver here.
Yeah, but I do expect that Blake will be in pit lane shortly. He's on 20 lap old hard compound, so he will start to struggling a lot. He's dropping really fast behind Basgat, and Mateo is catching him up pretty rapidly. And here it is, Blake Stevenson is onto the pit lane.
Good try with the fastest lap. Meanwhile, so now I'm going to assume Mateo goes for a move on Chubb Tucker here. And if he does, that might just set up Itchrai to really attack. There is a car coming out of the pit lane. Does that interfere with the moves being made? No, it doesn't. But Mateo has stayed behind Chubb Tucker, so I wonder what the strategy is there. They are closing up to Buzzcott just a little bit, but they'll have to close up more once they can, until they can start thinking about the race win here.
Yeah, for
as Mateo
Merck,
gets a
another
penalty as well.
victim.
And Mateo at the
indeed.
same time. Yeah.
Yeah, but Chaptaka and Mateo are closing up lap by lap to Basgat. For sure, softer compound for both of drivers comparing to Alpine in front of them is helping.
Meanwhile, the two Honda-powered cars are going side by side through the straight, and Merck has made a pass. Big Mama Frank, I think we need to revisit how crucial this penalty might be to Mateo's race, because that could be the difference between winning and, well, I guess not winning this race. But he looked to be in great contention earlier on, but this might cost him.
Especially watching that Chaptaker Basgat and its Rai are also pretty close to Mateo. It might be even a difference between winning and being out of the podium, and contact. It's Rai gently rear-ending Mateo. Lucky it doesn't look like any of them have kind of damage.
Well, that was about as dangerous as it can get for saying hurry up from Itchrai. So Mateo 6 cents back and about the same gap for Itchrai behind Mateo. But things are definitely going to start to heat up once Buzzgod gets into play here. That might be as soon as next lap.
Chop Tucker showed us the pace in sprint. He was showing the pace through whole first stint. They all got undercutted by the Basgat in Alpine, and now it's the game of nerves. I do believe it's starting. They are reached to the DRS behind Alpine, so we have four-way battle for the win, and Wild Poros might be involved over there shortly as well, because obviously he will get clean air advantage on drivers in front of him.
Yes, he has the freshest tires of the top 5, so once the top 4 start fighting, maybe he will close up. And John Ranger might be sipping on a margarita right now, but he might spit it out if Wild Poros wins this race. Chub Tucker is going to make a move on Buzzgod. Buzzgod has dropped down from the lead of the race. Mateo is going to be the next one to try and overtake the Alpine. But this is the time now that Chub Tucker needs to really try and take away from this Ferrari behind.
Yeah, but I'm watching battery situation, and I have to say that Buzzgod was playing really wise. He wasn't playing that much battery, as all three drivers close to him are under 20%. Buzzgod is over 40, so he didn't set the last word.
Chub Tucker is around!
Now.
Chub Tucker is around! Huge moment for our race leader, who was leading the race for about 20 seconds, and I was going back on board with Mateo, and I see a Mercedes go across my screen. Chub Tucker has pretty much lost this race win now. Huge drama in the Division 2 race here.
But it's magic of Interlagos. We've seen plenty of dramas, also including in-game races, including real-life races. Everyone remember, for example, situation between IRL Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon when Red Bull driver were lapping Ocon, but meanwhile it's is overtaking Buzzgod, and it's P2 for Williams driver.
Yes, and Wild Poros is kind of being reintroduced to this fight here. He's down to 2.5 seconds. He can kind of see the cars in his sight now. So will he be able to close up to our front three? If he does, he might even win this race if he can get past Itchrai. Right now, as it stands, Mateo will not stand on the podium. So that time penalty is being very, very much a pain in the rear for the Ferrari driver.
And Wild Poros might get DRS because he's really close to lapping car in front of him.
And he does get it. Surely he does. Yes, there it is. DRS for Wild Poros. So now this has become a four-way fight from what was, I mean, I guess it was a four-way fight before, but this is completely different than what we saw 2 laps ago.
Yes, indeed. Meanwhile, in midfield, Blake Stevenson is overtaking Jack Fletcher. That's P8 and P9 currently.
As I can tell, Itchrai wants this race win. He's got fresher tires than Mateo, and he's nearly challenging the Ferrari already. And he goes wide a little bit, so this could be anyone's race right now. I mean, Buzzgod, his tires will be better as the race goes on, but going down in first gear. Jeez. Sorry, got a little bit sidetracked there. But Buzzgod, I mean, he might be able to win this race if he just nurses his tires all the way through. But this man right here, Wild Poros, does he get DRS this lap? If he does, then he could well be the winner of this race too. And John Ranger will be spinning in his. Go ahead.
It looks like Alfa Romeo driver is in the party officially right now. So I do believe that John Ranger's starting to be nervous on some warm Mexican beach.
Yeah, he's absolutely fuming right now as he sees his title rival closing up to our top 3 here. And right now, as it stands, he will finish at least P3, but I think he's got better pace than anyone ahead. He's got fresher tires than anyone ahead of him. So we will have to see what happens. Itchrai is getting so close to the back of Mateo, really just not making it work. There's some Mercedes around Chubb Tucker again.
Oh, really heartbreaking for Chubb Tucker. He was leading the race by first stint. He won the sprint race, and now 2 mistakes.
Yes, he finished first in the last 2 sessions that we just had, but now I think first is probably the last of his priorities right now. He just wants to keep it on track, and that's about all he can really wish for right now. Something is happening here. Wild Pros is going to be overtaking the Alpine here, and it'll be around the outside. Buzzcott, I can imagine, doesn't want to lose this position, but he does give it up. So now our top 3 are all on the soft tires. This could be anyone's battle, or battle to win here, I should say. And now Itchrai, does he go for a move on the Ferrari? If he doesn't, then he might have an Alfa Romeo just peeking up his inside sooner or later here. And man, they're getting so close, these top 2. You can just see the Williams getting closer and closer to the Ferrari. I would not be surprised if one time soon that the Ferrari might get a little nudge from Itchrai here.
And it looks like driver behind are pretty no man's land, because gaps between P5, P6 and P7 is over 3 seconds. Enrique McNuby is trying to overtake Chubb Tucker. Trent H is really close to them, but here is the fight we are interesting the most. Itchrai will try to overtake Mateo once again, I assume.
But I don't think he's close enough, is he? Might try around the outside, and he does. Going for the switchback now, but Mateo has parked it on the apex. Very close together now, our top 2. Surely Itchrai will go for this move, and Wild Pros can only watch here. We're going to go on board with him. A little bit of contact. We saw the little cloud of dust go on, and Itchrai is into the lead of the race, and Mateo nearly losing the car in the meantime. Wild Pros really needs to clear him now if he wants to win this race. Even though Mateo might not get the result he wants once the race is over, he can still play as much of a part here while he's on track. So here we are.
And I have to say that Mateo is really young driver, so he got plenty races to win in his life, and I'm really happy to see that we have that future of sim racing ahead.
Yes, I can completely agree with that, and he might even get the lead back here, but he doesn't. So I wonder what the move is here. The Williams going a little bit squirrely out of turn 1. So now the Ferrari will have this move done into turn 3, turn 4. I haven't known it this entire night, but he's going to get through back into the lead of the race. Itchrai is going actually for a switchback. They make a bit of contact, and now Wild Pros has the move on Itchrai. Big amounts of contact, and now Itchrai might even flop. And Buzzcott now is trying to overtake the Alfa Romeo, and Itchrai is even dropped down, maybe behind the Alpine. And I think he just will, because the Alpine will have the inside line for the next corner. And Mateo has actually pulled a gap on Wild Pros here. They're still side by side, Itchrai and Buzzcott. On the inside line now is Itchrai. Buzzcott might have to concede this position, but still squirrely out of that corner. Itchrai, was sliding all the way around, but now he's going to go fully on the battery is Buzzcott. He's got the DRS for the next part, and he's going to try overtake into turn 1. He's not happy with the positions that he could have gotten there, and he might even get the Alfa Romeo at the end of the straight. Itchrai going around the outside. He'll have the inside line for the next here, but it will be a switchback from the Alpine. He's got a better run, just barely, onto the DRS. Will it be down the inside for the Alpine driver? He's not really closing fast enough to be able to make a move, and he's going to stay behind for P4. Quite a lot of battling just happened.
But I'm still wondering what is the plan of Basgat for this race, because I noticed that he is not deploying that much battery compared to currently leading three. They all three are basically drained out of battery, and Basgat is on about half amount of his battery power. So he might be looking for something big.
Yeah, I mean, if anything happens with Wild Pros and it try, Buzzcut could still win this race. Absolutely. We can just see how
And for now,
helpful that battery advantage is. Go ahead.
Mateo is leading the race, but we can't forget about his penalty. And if drivers behind him won't make a mistake, Mateo is for now out of the podium.
Yeah, and now Wild Pros is gonna overtake Mateo for the lead of the race. The first time I think Wild Pros has led this race at all. So big advantage to him now because he's put a car in between himself and Itchrai, the next challenger for the lead of the race. So this could be Wild Pros' race here, and John Ranger could maybe not be resting too easily next time. Meanwhile, Fletcher gets past Combined YouTuber and maybe held his position. I'm not too sure which one it is.
Fletcher did overtake combined YouTuber. They were side by side through turn 4. I was looking for them. It was really tight and dangerous, but Fletcher gets ahead.
Mateo, I think he's going to go for an overtake on Wild Pros here. It's going to be around the outside, so he's going to have this done pretty neatly. Around the outside he goes, and Wild Pros not really fighting it back, but he will try and have a run on the Ferrari next time around. And look at the run he just got. Man, that is going to be an easy overtake for the Alfa Romeo, surely. And he's not even going to need a tow because he's going to fly past him here. Meanwhile, Buzzcut is getting closer to try, and he's losing a little bit of battery now that he's noticing how crucial this could be. And I think this is...
Meanwhile,
go ahead.
Meanwhile, Chap Tucker managed to overtake both combined YouTuber and Fletcher. He's actually fighting now with combined YouTuber, and YouTuber is taking position back from Chap Tucker. Apologies for that. But after mistakes, Chap Tucker managed to go back to points position. So really big comeback for Mercedes driver.
Meanwhile, the B-Ben maybe we're having a little bit of a scrap. Not anymore. So we're going back to our front pack here. We've got 2 laps remaining after this. And Buzzgut is going to go for a move on Itchrai. It'll be around the outside. Or whoa! As Buzzgut goes around! He got on the grass on the entry to the corner, and he's gone completely around in the meantime. He's going to be so frustrated with himself that he made such a mistake so late in the race. But now it's only 3 cars having a battle where it used to be 4 not too long ago. And now Itchrai isn't really close to Wild Pros at all. So the win of the race might not be at all possible for Itchrai unless Mateo does a little something with Wild Pros in this next lap here.
Yes, indeed, and I just checked the standings. It's only 1 point difference between Josh Madler and Itchrai, so John Ranger might be stressing even more because of that. And Chap Tucker!
Chap Tucker around again! Absolutely scenes in Brazil. Okay, now let's go on board with Mateo because I can sense that he's going to go for a move either into this turn or the next one. It's going to be very, very tight. We'll see if the Ferrari does send it down the inside. He thinks about it, tries to get the Alfa Romeo to go a little bit wide. He hasn't done so. So this is a final overtaking opportunity, and he's not close enough. They're both on the battery now. So it's going to be Wild Pros who stays ahead in this corner. And Itchrai might just have to wave goodbye to this win of the race here. Oh, as Jack Fletcher goes into the wall out of turn 1. I just went on board with him and I caught him right into the tire barrier. What just happened?
Another driver with pretty good comeback after some adventures and visiting track surroundings.
Yeah, and he could have been in a great position. Uh, yeah, and
But
okay,
they
here
were
we go.
fighting for P8. And who is that? Two drivers collided.
Yeah,
It's Chef
but
Tucker again.
we have Wild Pros coming across the line though to win the Brazilian Grand Prix, starting with a qualifying ban and crossing the line to win it all. And now Mateo has dropped down to P3. He does stay on the podium. It's a bit of a miracle that he did. And Itchry is P2 now. Merck in P4 for his first race for AlphaTauri. Buzzgod will have been wishing he had done more and not had made that mistake on the final few laps of the race. Blake Stevenson, another driver with a qualifying ban, got up to P6. BMF is in P7, then Trent H, after all that happened to him, is in P8, and then Enrique McNuby in P9. And what has happened? Someone's dropping down the order. Sid has dropped down the order quite a bit. Combined YouTuber P10, Chubb Tucker P11, Fletcher P12, Labib P13, Nadewell P14, Sid P15, Arrow P16, and Hokage Roldi P17.
Yes, and Hokage Roldit was driving on P17 by longer time, but he went for late stop and gets that fastest lap, but it was stolen for him. I seen another notification about the fastest lap. White for us with driver of the day picked by game, and it's really hard to disagree about this.
Yes, and Freddy has pointed out something that might be worth mentioning. Shrai might be P1 because of the Wild Pros incident, I believe, earlier on, him going into the back of Blake Stevenson and hitting him twice. So that could be brought up, but for now we'll enjoy the champagne with Wild Pros, the one to be showering his co-workers, you could say, opponents, with the sparkly stuff. So here we are. Wild Pros P1 with Itchry, Mateo, and Merck right behind him. Then it's Buzzgod, Blake, and BMF. Then Trent H, Enrique McNuby, Eric McNerney, of course. Then combined YouTuber Chubb Tucker in P11. Then it's Jack Fletcher, who could have been up a little bit higher, but he had an incident very late in the race. P12 for him. Then P13 goes to Labib, followed by Nadewell, Sid, Arrow, and Hokage Rodi. So let's scoot on over to our interview booth, and we will start with Mateo. And he's not here yet, so we'll just wait for him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that was quite an impressive or exciting race. There's lots of action all over the place. Sprint race was pretty eventful. Go ahead.
Lot of action, and it was mostly clean race. A couple of unforced mistakes by drivers. I didn't catch up too many hard incidents between drivers, mostly gentle touches. So I really enjoyed one.
Yep. So here's our P3 finisher. Here is Mateo. Oh, so congratulations on your podium. There was a little bit more left on the table had there not been a penalty, but talk us through it.
Yeah, it was a good race. I'm a bit I'm disappointed, but I'm also happy at the same time because it's a podium. But if I didn't have that penalty right there, it would have been P2, maybe P1, because I wouldn't have taken all those risks. So I'm happy with that, but I'm also like a bit disappointed, you know?
Yeah, the bittersweet feeling. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, for a bit you might have not even been on the podium had Buzzgod not spun around.
I know. Yeah, I was pretty lucky with that.
Yeah, I mean, you had a win last week and now a podium, so I mean, I'm sure the momentum is slowly building as we go further into our season. So,
Yeah, I'm very happy.
yeah, you think you're gonna go for the top step of the championship this season, or what do you think here?
Yeah, I think hopefully I'll try to. I'm gonna spend a lot more time this season. I think now that I have a couple seasons under my belt, I have a bit of, I guess, experience, quote unquote. So I think that's helping me. And yeah, I'm just gonna try and do my best from here on.
All right, well, good luck in that, and congratulations on your result once again, and have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
All right, next up is Mr. It's Shry. So, welcome to the booth, man. It's been P2 for you, and well, I mean, what do you have to say about your race? It was pretty good pace overall from you, and just Wild Pros in the end was the one in front of you. So, talk us through it.
I think it was pretty well. The strategy pretty much worked very well. No safety car, which is very helpful in that. But I mean, the lap I pitted, lap 19, I gained so much time on Mateo and I think it was Buzzcod, and they were battling so hard on their outlap. Um, I made up so much time, which brought me right back into their DRS, which kind of brought the rest of the race to me. So I was very happy how it turned out. Not sure really what happened to Buzzcod on lap 35 going into turn one. I don't know if he lost it or something.
Yeah, he did.
But it was a great race overall. Good racing, clean, everything. I'm very happy. So
Yeah, and I'm sure you might have been made aware, but Wild Pros
Thank
might be
you.
getting a
Wild Pros got
penalty.
yeah, I might be getting a race ban too, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that would be true since he's already been subject to a
Yeah.
race ban this season. The stewards
Yeah.
voted against it, but now he might not be so lucky. So we'll have to see. But yeah, until then, congratulations, and as you await your potential race win, just yeah, have a good night.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep, of course. Adios. All right, now our race winner, though it might not stay that way, is Mr. Josh Mulder at Wild Pros. Welcome to the interview booth. Of course, you took P1 on track, and here we are. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was. Oh my God, that was a crazy race. I was not expecting to be able to come back, but yeah, no, I had a really high downforce setup, so I was able to just absolutely fly in the middle sector, and that just carried me through the entire race. I feel bad though. I just want to say first, I feel bad for Blake. I don't know if I got hit in the rear or what happened, if I just locked up, but I hit him turn one, or not turn one, lap one, and I think it kind of fucked him. But so I just wanted to say a shout out to him and sorry.
Yeah, so some people have said that you might get a penalty, but I mean, I think even with that being a possibility, you drove an amazing race. I mean, of course you have a qualifying ban at this race, but with the sprint race and all that, you were able to recover very, very smoothly. I mean, I think you even had an incident in the sprint race which dropped you down a little bit, but then you still came back. So great showing from you. And yeah, just congratulations and good night.
Thank you so much. Have a great night. Thanks for the broadcast as always.
Yeah, of course. Adios.
Adios.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been your Brazilian Grand Prix here in Division 2. Of course, it's going to be a random Grand Prix for tomorrow's Division 1 race, in which I'm serving a qualifying ban. So hopefully, Wild Pros, his luck or skill, I do mean skill, it wasn't a snarky comment, his skill can be put upon me and I can come back and win it. But until then, have a good night, everyone. Like and subscribe, and it has been a night. Have a good night, everyone.